right, YouTube world. Welcome to the first crypto video of today. And today we have my main man.
Archie. Yeah,
No
nice to meet
problem.
you.
Today we're going to be talking about Archie's project, his new big blockchain project. So we're going to let Archie take the floor and give us a brief description about it before we jump into the questions.
Yeah, sure. So Adamnite is the project I'm currently working on. I initially wrote the white paper, well, published the white paper in early December, and since then we have kind of um, expanded the team and so on and so forth. So Adamnite is a layer one blockchain. It's on its own chain, and its goal is to bring security and scalability to blockchain developers. So one of the main reasons, at least that I felt, and that most of the developers and contributors feel, is that current blockchain platforms are lacking in terms of their security and scalability
Mm-hmm.
properties. That's why we see so many hacks in DeFi platforms that are built on top of blockchains like Solana or Avalanche or other mainstream platforms. We also felt that current solutions were uh, too slow and clunky and didn't do enough to build actual live scalable applications. So with Adamnite, we're trying to fix that through unique security features and by using a new consistent mechanism that will help ensure that applications built on chain are not only fast but also secure.
That's good. That's good. So basically, this project is just going to be a better security project for developers and anyone that's accessing the blockchain. Correct?
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, blockchains itself are actually very secure. It's one of the interesting things is when a lot of time you hear about like a hack. So, like recently, very recently, just last week, I don't know if you heard, but the wormhole bridge between Solana and Ethereum
Mm-hmm.
was exploited for over $400 million,
Yeah.
and you know I think it's almost become like this like um, sort of mainstream thing in crypto is like DeFi platforms and smart contract platforms are inherently dangerous, and that's like the price we have to pay for interacting with a decentralized ecosystem. But I don't think that's true. My background is as a blockchain developer,
Mm-hmm.
and I built smart contracts before on other blockchains, and I realized a lot of these exploits happen because one line of code in the contract that defines your token or your exchange platform or whatever you've built, there's one line of code that's sort of wrong and or that allows someone interacting with that smart contract to drain that pool of all its funds,
Mm-hmm.
and that one exploit often leads to all these issues. So that's really what we're trying to do is build a platform that allows developers to build applications in such a way that those small errors will really be mitigated and checked for.
Oh, that sounds good. So that is awesome. Definitely.
Mhm.
Let's see. Let's see. Well, we do have a couple questions. Uh, so I know the first question comes from my investor side of the fans, um, which would definitely be where is there a Dex coming? Also, the date for the crowdfunding for the native token, and if there isn't a native token, where there'll be a native token planned down the line.
Yeah, sure. So the native token for the blockchain is called, there is a native token to answer that question. I thought it was kind of backwards, but there is a native token. It's called Knight, so Knight. And the native token itself, it will be used to, just like any other native token on the other smart contract based blockchains like Ethereum, it'll be used to transactions. It'll be used for if you want to deploy your application, if you want to make a sub token on the blockchain itself, it'll be used for that.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be used like sort of pay, but obviously, and that's like one thing we can get into is um, with Adamant, we're using something called if you're using a variation of delegated proof of stake.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure you're familiar with proof of work, proof of stake. Um, or proof of work, you're using like you provide a proof that you expended computing power to
Mm-hmm.
validate the blockchain as a miner. Proof of stake, it's how much tokens you have. That sort of determines how much validation power you have. But with delegated proof of stake, you're using your tokens to elect validators and elect miners, and that's done in like a democratic process. And we're implementing this a randomness tool that ensures that there's not corruption and bribery going on. And essentially, you vote, and then the validators are selected randomly from the highest vote getters, and then they're the ones valuing the blockchain. That makes the entire blockchain that much faster and that much quicker because now that power is sort of like it only needs the validation from a few democratically elected validators. So even though it will be the Knight token, going back to the question, even though the Knight token will be used for um, funding for transaction fees and deploying smart contracts, the fees will be a lot less than say gas fees on Ethereum or even gas fees on layer two networks. And to move on, yeah, so the crowd sale, we're planning on having a public crowd sale to fund the project in April, between late April to June. Exact details and dates will soon follow. Be sure to follow the Twitter and other our social media. It'll be updated there. And anyone around the world will be able to participate in the cloud sale. All you need is an internet connection, and you'll be able to essentially send Bitcoin, Ethereum, and maybe one or two other top 20 cryptocurrencies,
Mm-hmm.
and you'll be able to get back a cold wallet with Knight in it. So that's how the crowd sale will work. We'll be publishing detailed reports on sort of how the tokenomics of the project will work, and inflation rates and all of that. So be on the lookout for that. And finally on the DEX, yes, I mean right now there's like that's not like sort of that's really far ahead because basically we'll need to launch the main blockchain first, and someone will make smart contracts on top of it
Mm-hmm.
and make a DEX. But definitely that's something that will really help the ecosystem because once we have the main blockchain, people will be able to make other assets on top of the blockchain, and that can be the DEX. So
That's good. That's good. All right. All right. The next questions that we have is from the developer side. So this will probably be very interesting. I know the biggest question I got, of course, you touched on it a little bit in the beginning, because every developer is worried about security when it comes to developing, and also how easy would it be to develop on the blockchain?
right, right. Yeah, so like for the specifics of security, we're planning on using something called knowledge verification. So with knowledge verification, you can program. So Adamnite will have two high-level programming languages. One that's similar to Script for Solidity developers. It'll be very similar to Solidity, and the other one will be Pythonic. So it'll be very similar to Python. And
Mm-hmm.
both of these languages, you'll be able to. And one of the things we're really trying to do to make it easier for developers is make it modular so you can now download like just like how when you program in Python or you program in JavaScript, you can download modules, you can download packages that have certain code packages that you might be willing to use in your program.
Yeah.
So currently with like Solidity, you see like the same 200 lines of code for every if you're looking to make a token, your own token, it'll be like the same 200 lines of code. That's reused all the time. That takes a lot of time, especially for someone who's new. It takes them time to learn that and do all that. Well, with Adamnite, you'll be able to just download, the token creation package, which will define preset parameters and functions, and then it'll only take 5 lines of code to actually define your own token. And then you can add functions as you want and add parameters as you wish. And so that's sort of how we're making it easier for developers. That and also since it's similar to Python, it'll be very similar to programming in Python, which is sort of the language that most developers start with. But then going on to the security aspect of things, with knowledge verification, what you'll be able to do is when you program your code, you'll be able to, in a different file, declare certain things you want to remain consistent, right? So as a developer, you can say, I want my the users who are using my smart contracts, to interact with the application in this way. And I can declare, maybe I declare that this variable in a loop always remains consistent. That's something we call a loop invariant. And because that variable always stays consistent, and if it doesn't stay consistent, if it changes, then someone will be able to drain the drain the pool of the DEX I'm working on and drain it completely and run away with all the funds, which has happened before. So you can declare that, and then when you compile your code, compiler will automatically generate test cases for you,
Mm-hmm.
and it'll be able to, and then it'll tell you how successful your assertion was. It can say, your assertions were successful 83% of the time. And then you can go back and fix it or change it, or maybe if you're happy with it, you can deploy it, obviously. But if that's not good enough, you can go back and fix it before deploying. And that adds that certain layer of security that current blockchains don't have. And it also lets you know, like your average developer, if it's like you're just a person looking to make a smart contract for fun, they won't be able to pay for a security audit, which might cost you, middle five figures like in terms of like paying auditors.
Yeah.
So it sort of breaks down that barrier and lets your average developer make a program that they're actually confident is secure.
Okay, okay, that's so it's like the ultimate security spell check for developers when they're
Yeah,
operating in a smart contract.
that's exactly it.
That's yeah, I'm pretty sure every developer would love that when they're doing anything. I know I will use it every time because I know I need spell check. Everyone that knows me knows I need spell check. So
Well, it's a spell check for programming, but yeah, you got the idea.
yeah, I mean definitely on that because I know I spent a solid day with a certain program because of one incident that I'm pretty sure if I had your program, it'd have been like 2 minutes because it'd have picked up the problem like, hey, it's not going through because of yay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's
All right, so
exactly
yeah,
it.
that is definitely cool. That is definitely cool. To the listeners and the watchers, I will have in the description all the links to everything, the site, Discord, the Twitter, so you can look them up, read the. I said you had the white paper, right?
Yeah, and we recently released a white paper. So if you're not as technically inclined and you want like a very good high level overview, which is really quick, the white paper is. We also really recently released that, so that's like a really high level overview of what we're trying to do.
So that's different. I don't really see too many light papers. So they have the white paper and the light paper. So no matter
Yeah,
what level you on, you can read about what these guys have going on. I
exactly.
know
I
this
mean,
won't be the last interview, but is there anything that you want to add about your project before we leave?
no, man. Thanks so much, Marquise, for holding the interview. Our goal is to, at the end of the day, we're trying to increase the adoption of blockchain technology. I mean, the fundamental idea here is that the web and the internet are too centralized, and all of the applications you interact with, all the whether it's social media, your rideshare, your Uber, your whatever it is, they're all controlled by centralized companies, and we want to make the internet more decentralized. And the whole idea here is the best way to do that is to make it easier for the developers and the talent that's out there to build these applications through a platform. So that's really what we're trying to do: increase blockchain adoption.
Well, that's good. Let's see. Let's see. Is there anything? Let me look. Is there any job openings that you guys have? Any way that if anyone believes in the project where they can come and help out?
Yeah, so I mean, we're currently looking for contributors. We currently have contributors all over the world from a, a variety of different backgrounds. We have people who are interested in like cryptographic research. We have people who are interested in like sort of business development. Um, People who are interested in like marketing and social media. So really, people who are interested in legal. We recently picked someone up who's kind of going to help us with like some of the legal stuff. So really, anyone who's interested in contributing, we're completely open source and permissionless. So um, that's the whole idea with behind this ecosystem, and we're completely open source. So we're looking for contributors all over the world, and so anyone who's a contributor will be eligible to be part of the early contributor pool. So when the blockchain actually launches, you'll be getting a certain amount of the native token in return for your contributions.
Okay, that's good. That's good. So, like I said, everything will be in the descriptions below. Don't forget to follow on Twitter, join them in the Discord, get in the conversations, learn more, conversate more. I know Archie will be there. I myself will be there. I am one of the marketers of the project. So you will definitely catch a lot more information about this project on this YouTube channel, on my Facebook page, on their Twitter page, and their disc. Everything is going to be in the description, so you can just hit all the buttons and hit all the follows, just so you can keep up to date with everything that happens.
Definitely, definitely. Thank you so much, Marquise. Really appreciate it. And yeah, we're planning on doing a lot this upcoming couple of months. So
No problem. Thank you for coming. From me and everyone else watching, thank you. Thanks for sharing everything. And like I said, we will definitely keep you guys updated. So until next time, thank you for watching. Peace.
thank you.